Like the brains of Kowlong's teeming masses, Slitterhead's complex mythology is a lot to wrap one's jaws around. You play as a disembodied spirit in Bokeh Game Studios' maiden voyage, a being from Japanese mythology known as Hyoki, whose ability to possess and control everyday humans bestows each host with supernatural powers. Using them to fight back against the Slitterhead invasion is a necessary evil, one the Hyoki initially fails to see as such. After all, it views humans as plentiful, and thereby expendable in the densely populated city of Kowlong. But when it fuses with Julie, its first companion of many, everything changes. She affectionately names it Night Owl, one of two Hyoki from the original folklore. As soon as she does, a curious thing starts blossoming in this non-corporeal being: empathy. The duality of humanity and monstrosity is a core theme sitting at the beating heart of Slitterhead. Make no mistake, this is a grisly horror game where skulls split open to make room for spiny appendages, shriveled bodies hanging limp as emptied cocoons upon the backs of insectoid creatures that burst from them, mouthed tongues flickering from jagged maws in search of unsuspecting human eye sockets to pierce and suck dry of cerebral matter. It's a grisly reimagining of zombie fiction, this time with razor-sharp third-person combat encounters where chaining possession is the key to success, as you literally throw bodies at the problem. But Slitterhead also makes a poignant comment on the human condition, taking inspiration from the very real, very overcrowded region of Kowloon, Hong Kong, to show how an everyday person has a purpose in the grand scheme of life. And in this case, death. Peeling back the layers of Slitterhead's bizarre narrative is a process in itself. It starts off slowly. Our first host, a barking street dog that leads us into the bustling main road of central Kowlong. From here, the nameless spirit leaps from person to person, grappling with memory loss as it tries in vain to recall who and what it is. It only knows one purpose: destroy the Slitterheads. Vicious monsters posturing as humans who hunt their prey in the shadows of Kowlong's insidious underbelly. Think triads, prostitution rings, creepy cult hideouts, the works. Bokeh sets up an intriguing, suitably baffling world to introduce the concept of humanity's strength in numbers. Flitting from person to person amid the neon streetlights, a chain-smoking auntie minding a market stall suddenly becomes capable of wielding her own blood as a weapon. Nearby, a man in fishing boots and little else becomes a warrior too, all at the mere tap of a button. By the time we meet and rescue Julie, an individual possessing heightened synchronization with the Hyoki, known in-game as a rarity, seeking out new host bodies has become second nature. Instead of leaning heavily on voiced cutscenes, a talk menu in the intermission screen allows the Hyoki to get to know each rarity as you progress. Adapting to this more fragmented gameplay hook took some getting used to for me, but I soon grew to appreciate the storytelling opportunities it created. The peppering of noir detective work that comes with piecing together conversations between rarities allows for slow, procedural revelation of Kowlong's secrets, the player uncovering them alongside the spirit as a foreign entity in this world and gradually discovering new places of interest. The first three rarity stories led into one another in a more linear fashion than the rest, but eventually I had to rely on mission information screens to preview what remaining secrets, collectibles, and signs of rarities I'd missed in a given area. Novel as the concept is though, it did leave me frustrated at one critical juncture. Closing in on the game's final moments, I mistook a series of connected events as optional collectibles rather than mandatory mission unlocks. That's 3 hours I'll never get back. But I'm willing to forgive Bokeh in this instance of lovable, albeit questionable, jank. Progression design aside, the true star of Slitterhead is its combat. Each rarity possesses unique skills and abilities, from healing to field management and buffing nearby humans for utility in battle. Swapping from a rarity to a human is not a problem, because rarities will block and deflect all incoming attacks autonomously until you swap back and start attacking yourself. With up to 2 rarities enlisted for each mission, working out good combinations is paramount for success. Going for pure brawn with 2 heavy hitters might sound like a good idea, but if all the nearby humans die out and your rarity temporarily falls in combat, failing to jump to a nearby living host means restarting from the last checkpoint. Slitterhead is all about tactics and precision, thinking quickly on your feet to gain the upper hand and make every second count. The glorious result is aggressive, nail-biting action involving everything from blood-generated shotguns, claws, using a giant mascara wand as a melee weapon, and turning humans into literal time bombs to make you sweat even on normal or easy difficulty, all honing in on the dynamism of playing a wandering Hyoki in search of a host. But the question is, who are these hosts? Are they really expendable? How much blood are you willing to spill in the name of killing Slitterheads? Those are the questions posed to us by Rarities, and the studio itself, as the game spins its yarn across some 20 hours. In a charming twist of fate, humans turn out to be the ones guiding a spirit rather than the other way around. Slitterhead tells human stories through a supernatural, possibly preternatural, being, shining a light on the unique souls it encounters along the way. Kowloon is a microcosm of humanity, all walks of life sharing a tiny space and choosing their path through it. True, some of the discovered rarities serve little narrative purpose compared to others, but each is distinct and represents an ordinary person just trying to survive. As the spirit learns more about humanity and the darkness in all us, the line between good and bad grows ever blurry, even when it comes to grotesque monsters. Despite the occasional pacing issue and immersion-breaking hiccup, courtesy of its unusual mission unlock system, Slitterhead's deeply insightful narrative and punchy, challenging combat makes it a force to be reckoned with. Kiichiro Toyama and Akira Yamaoka bring their A-game in true X-Team Silent fashion, delivering an unforgettable and relentless action horror marathon with more twists and turns than the winding back alleys of Kowloon. It all speaks to a daring vision executed with finesse by some of the most iconic minds in genre history. Slitterhead is a proud new chapter in that ever-growing canon, boasting innovation still to come from Bokeh Game Studio following a truly impressive first release. But what do you think about Slitterhead? Does this look like a game you'll be picking up? Let us know in the comments and follow GamesRadar for more reviews, previews and more.